going to jump in to today's question. Hey Nikki, okay, I promise I am not a crazy person, but I get put into stressful situations at work and school. Times when I need to stick up for myself or stand up for what is right, I often become emotional and begin crying. This can happen in front of people that I wish to impress, like my boss or even a whole classroom. How do I control my emotions and show my peers and employer that I am capable? Okay, a couple things. First one is, this is kind of like a lifelong journey, if that makes sense. I don't think that I'm starting to kind of realize, like very slowly, as I'm sure I will continue to realize more throughout my life, that like you just kind of keep learning, and you don't, like, you know how babies come out and they literally, like, they come out of the womb and they don't know how to do anything, like they don't speak, they don't walk, they don't do anything. Well, from that point on, that's literally like a developmental journey your whole life. It's not like once you're not a baby anymore, it's like, geez, you should have this handled. It's like, life is complicated and hard, which I actually really hate saying because I feel like that always paints life as like really depressing and just like sad. But there's just like hard, stressful stuff in life. Also a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, but it gets hard and stressful and there's a lot to learn. And you know, we're constantly changing and growing and hopefully trying to like better ourselves and care about other people more and help other people, yada yada. Point is, it's a journey. So first off, I have to say, don't beat yourself up for that. That's something obviously that you're struggling with, just like we all struggle with stuff that you have to work on overcoming and getting better at. I have to say, like, it's funny that I make advice videos because like all of these things, like I struggle with too. Like I struggle with getting emotional when I'm in like confrontational situations, or doing the opposite, like shutting down and not saying anything because it's this weird combination of like, I want to say how I'm feeling, but I don't want to hurt the other person's feelings or invalidate what they're feeling. And it's like, it's just hard. Like life's a journey and you learn. I would say, to like address your question more specifically, there's this saying that says like, the more, I can't remember exactly how it goes, the more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in battle, or something like that. And what that basically means, if that wasn't like, if that wasn't as straight out enough for you, what that basically means is like, the more that you prepare for stressful situations, the easier it's going to be when you're actually in them. So I would really prepare your mind. I bought a book at the grocery store last night called like How Successful People Think by John C. Maxwell, but I was skimming through it and it's interesting because I'm actually going to read it, but the gist of what he was saying was that it's like all in your brain. So what I would say to you is I would spend a lot of time like really trying to train your brain and reading books about like, I hate the word centering yourself, it sounds so hippy-dippy-ish, but kind of, yeah, like centering yourself. There's a really good book, I've read through it like twice and I could probably afford to read it like a billion more times because you just forget all this stuff, but it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it talks a lot about like how to have conversations with people over like positive things, over tough issues, just kind of everything, and how human nature is. That's a really, really good book. Yeah, I mean, I actually did a video on my main channel called like my favorite authors and life coaches, so that's over there if you want to check that out. But yeah, I would just recommend really trying to like recondition and train your mind to be calm and centered. I don't know if this is answering, I feel like I'm giving a really hippy-dippy-ish answer, but yeah, that's really helpful. And then what I always say in all of my videos is, if you're not plugged into like a church, getting involved in a church is really helpful because you can kind of get involved in groups at the church where you can talk about these kind of things and actually get live personal feedback from people who are probably trying to work on similar things as you and can kind of walk through those things with you. So yeah, that is my advice to that question. I feel ya, don't beat yourself up too much because I swear like every day I'm working on all the same kinds of things that I try to like answer for you guys. I'm really just working through them myself. So there's that. Now, the Twitter question says, what would you want your 16-year-old self to know? Actually, everything I just said. I tend to be, I think it's an oldest child thing, I tend to like get like beat up on myself a lot. Like I feel like because my brain's constantly like, brrr, as I'm sure a lot of most people's brains are, because it's constantly like going, I'm always thinking of all these things that I like could have done, or that I've messed up or did wrong. And it's getting a little tiny bit better the older I get, you know, and being married to Dan is really helpful because he's so encouraging and calming, and he doesn't really place like so much importance on like things of the world, you know what I mean? But what I wish I had known is that like I'm not gonna be perfect at 16. Like, it's just a journey, and things will get better and things will get easier, and I will learn, and I can't expect myself to know everything. And I guess the same thing is true now. I mean, I know the same thing is true now, but if I could go back and tell myself that back then, I would say it's gonna be okay. You're learning and you're growing, and it's fine. So I guess that was kind of a quick answer. Maybe there are other things I would have told myself, but that's the first thing I thought of. So, side note, I really like this shirt. I keep looking at it in the viewfinder. I really like the color, and I think it's really cute. Anyways, so that is it. Send your messages to asknikkip@gmail.com or hashtag asknikkip, and I will see you all next time. I hope you have a really good rest of the day, and yeah, bye guys. I don't think it's a problem that your brother is friends with him. I would say, you know, try to get to know the guy a little bit, talk to him a little bit, you know, add him on Facebook, add him on social media, kind of get to know him a little bit.